Okay, today let's have a look of LAB6. So this week is something about simulation. So we will use the MATLAB. At first, we will talk about how to install the MATLAB and what kind of toolbox should we install. And after that is the details about the labs. And there's some questions. Let's see. For the installation here, let me open the documentation of the lab. It's here. I think this link is not valid at all, right? So you can search online or use this link to download the newest MATLAB. What you need to do is just simply click it and enter your email address and then press continue. Then you will receive a email. So you can start to use it. But remember, use your ZID's email, okay? And after the installation, then you'll be able to run the MATLAB here. Let me run it. Okay. So after you have installed the MATLAB, what you need to do is install an add-ons. You can find an add-ons button here. Can you see that? This one. Click it and get new add-on. Here. And we need to search about the communication toolbox. Communication toolbox. Sorry. Toolbox. This one. We need to install this one. And beside this one, we also need to find another one to run the Bluetooth simulator. So which call the communication toolbox for the Bluetooth protocol. We also need to install this one. See, another one here. So we need to install two add-ons. And then after the installation, all the environment setup will be finished. So that's two things we need to do before we get started. Do you have any question related to the MATLAB? Let's have a look of the documents here. Here. So why we should install the MATLAB? Because we want to use the simulator on it. So basically what we need to do is copy this line, then go to the MATLAB. Here, create a new script, then put your command here. Then run it. Use Control and Enter to run it. And you can see there's example scripts here describing how the Bluetooth channel hopping works. And then just run this script by clicking the Run button. You can see that. can see the editor here and click the run button here. Or you can press F5 to run these scripts. And you can see there are two windows pop out. This window is for the algorithm 1, and this window is for the result of algorithm 2. So they are simulating two different algorithms of the Bluetooth channel hopping. So we don't need them, just close it. But we need to use this control panel on task 3. So let's have a look later. Okay, let's go to the task 1 and task 2 at first. You can see here. What should we do in task 1 and task 2? It asks us to describe something, right? Explain the algorithm. So where can we find the algorithm? It is on this link. This link. After click this link, you will find a document here. Go to the page of 2644. Then you can find the algorithm 1 description here. Just go through this chapter and understand how it works and understand this flow chart. So the key point of this algorithm is these two equations. The first one is calculate the unmapped channel, and the second one is calculate the remapping index. Okay, so after you understand these two equations, the algorithm will be pretty easy. So let's have a look of it later. So for the task 1 and task 2, all we need to do is have a look of the PDF file and read through the chapter here. But do not copy and paste anything from the document, and do not use any screenshots. You are not required to post these images into your report because we have already know you have read it. Okay. And let's go to the last task, task 3. It's about the how to use the graphical user interface, which is this one. So let me repeat again. What should we do in chapter 3? In task 3 is run the scripts by click this run button. So at first you need to run this command. Then you will be sent to these scripts here and run this script by click this run button. And then you will get a control panel here. So in the task 3, what we need to do is use this control panel to generate something like this and put it in your report, okay? And describe it. Let's have a look of the details. Use this interface and consider this kind of scenario. There is a 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi operating in channel 1. So what does this mean? And we need to figure out and select the good and bad channels for this scenario, right? So we need to select the good and bad channel here by click these buttons. For example, I select first 16 channels as a bad channel and generate this plot. Okay. And you should also select a hop increment of your choice So you can free to choose any number in here as your hop increment. I just select 5 as my choice. And the number of channel hops to 10. Change this number to 10. And then, yeah, we are good to go. Just generate a hopping sequence and put this graph into your report. Okay. And explain the figures in one paragraph. Okay. Basically, all you need to do is explain why these numbers, how these numbers are calculated. For example, here, I will explain why this number, why the first number is 21 and the second number is 26 and the third number is 31. Okay, let's have a look of the we should have a look of the Bluetooth channels at first. This one is the lecture slides. And the hopping stuff, where's the hopping stuff? It's here, frequency hopping. So at first, we need to understand why the Bluetooth need to do the frequency hopping. Let's go through the lecture notes. And after understand this, just go to the page 49 and understand how the Bluetooth channels overlapping with the Wi-Fi channels. You can see a lecture notes here. You can see they are overlapping with each other. So we need to figure out how this will affect the Bluetooth channel hopping. So basically, if the channel 1 is in use, which means Bluetooth will select all the channels in this area as a bad channel. Okay. But this picture, this image is not really clear. So we need to find the number by ourselves. Maybe you can use this chart here. For the channel 1 in Wi-Fi, the frequency range is from 2401 to 2423. And for the Bluetooth, you can see our lecture notes here. And you need to figure out how many channels is overlapping. You can see this one is overlapping, right? With the channel 1, and this one is also overlapping. And if you go through this list and have a look, how many channels is overlapped with each other. So after you figure out this number, then you should be able to select the bad channels here. For example, I consider the first 16 channel as bad channel here. It's just an example. You should not follow my step, okay? You need to figure out by yourself to figure out which channel is bad channel and which one is the good channel. So this one is just a demonstration here. So for example, if I got my graph like this, then I need to figure out how I calculate this number. How can I calculate this number? So in here, I use Excel to help us to understand it. The graph is here. So why the first number is 21? So before we understand the algorithm 1, before we use the algorithm 1, we need to figure out two stuff at first. So the first one is available channel. So the way, which means how many available channels here, because we select 0 to 15 as our bad channel. So there are only 21 available channels in the under the blue color box. So there are 21, and the list of them, so it's from 16 to 36. You can see this one is a list. So how can we run the algorithm 1? So let's follow this table here. This one is the first step. The first step is to calculate the unmapped channel. So how to calculate the unmapped channel? Then go back to the document here. Unmapped channel equal to last unmapped channel plus hop increments modulo 37. So the last unmapped channel, because this one is the first step, so it's start from 0. And plus the increment, our increment is 5 as we selected here. So we use 0 plus 5 modulo 35 equals to 5. So this 5 is our unmapped channel. And we need to determine is 5 a bad channel. So all we need to do is to back to here. Is 5 a bad channel? Yes, we select it as a bad channel. So if it's yes, then we need to go to the next step, which is calculate the remapping index. So the remapping index equation is here. It's equal to unmapped channel modulo number of used channels. So which is 5. This 5 come from here, right? This 5 come from the unmapped channel, and modulo 21, which is available channel here. And it still equals to 5. But why we choose 21 as our channel at last here? So why is 21? Because this 5 is an index value. We need to figure out what is the 5th element in the list of available channel here. So it's 16 is the 0, the index is 0, and 17 is 1, 18 is 2, so 21 is index 5. So we choose actually it's the 6th element in this list. So it's 21. Does this make sense? So by following this table again, we go to the next step and calculate the next number. Unmapped channel equals the last channel, which is 5, plus the increment is 5, and modulo 37 equals to 10. And is 10 a bad channel? We can have a double check of it. It's under the gray color, right? So it is a bad channel. Then we need to remapping index, calculate the remapping index, which is 10 modulo 21 is still equal to 10. So let's calculate the index. Which one is the 10th element? 21 is the 6, 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's 26. That's how algorithm 1 works. Does that make sense? We can have a double check of the value. You can see this one is 26. And let's go to the step 3. And 10 plus 5 modulo 37 is 15. And is it a bad channel? Yes, it is. So 15 modulo 21 is still 15. And what is the 16 value of it? Then 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So it's 31. And the step 4 is 15 plus 5 modulo by modulo 7 equals to 20. And is it a bad channel? You can see here, 20. It is not a bad channel, it is a good channel. So no. If it's a good channel here, we are not required to calculate the remapping index. And we can use the channel directly. So this one is 20. And the step 5, this number is 25. And it is still a good channel. So we use 25 as our channel here. So that's why we use 21 as our first hopping. And the second step is 26. Third one is 31. And 20, 25. So that's how this algorithm works. And through this chat, through this table, you can also understand why we what we are doing in task 1 and task 2. So if you can understand the table, you should also be you should also understand how to explain the algorithm 1 here. Okay. So all you need to do is to calculate how they overlapping with each other for the Wi-Fi channel 1 and with the Bluetooth channel. You need to figure out which one is the bad channel by yourself. My answer is wrong here. You need to figure out how much channel is overlapping and select them as the bad channel. Okay, and that's all you need to do. Do you have any question related to this? I think the task is pretty easy for this week, isn't it? All you need to do is to do the installation and run the example. So if your MATLAB is not working, like this, if it's not working, for example, you are not able to run the script here, maybe you may have some trouble here. You can have a look of the error message and see what is the error message. Maybe you need to install something that you missed. So I think after the installation, you'll be fine. If you have already installed the toolbox, that should have no problem. But if you still have some problem, for example, maybe 2 days ago, a student is using the MATLAB 2018, an old version of it, and he was not able to run the script. But after the updating, it works. make sure you use the newest version. And that's all for this lab. So if you have any question, just feel free to ask. So if you don't have any question, let's see you next week. Yeah, if you have any question related to the program, you can also ask here. We'll stop the recording now, so feel free to share your screen if you want.